So my first question would be, what is the core of the conflict in the Middle East? Is it about territory or is it something else?
C'est en anglais, ça va.
Lost in translation, I guess. First of all, good evening to everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. The conflict in the Middle East, I personally don't think it's a political conflict. It is not a conflict over land. It's a lot deeper than this, and it looks like many people are in denial of the origins of this conflict, which is more of a spiritual, a conflict of principality, a conflict and a war of narratives. False narrative versus the truth. And of course, the truth is a big claim. But how do we know the truth from falsehood? You know them by their actions. You know them by their manifestation. Everyone has the equal potential given by the universe. The same soil, the same sun, the same elements. But some people create. You know them by their action, by their creation. The others sit down, wait, then blame. Then they create their own narrative, the victim narrative. Then they believe it. Then they act on it. Then they may become violent. Then they may try to invade and dominate. Things that don't belong to them. It is not about the land, it's about the harvest. They prefer a developed land. You can give them all earth and they will ruin it. Even if you give them the Palestine that they are crying about, they will not know what to do with it. Because they already have it. But they prove to be irresponsible. If they cannot be responsible towards their own children, how can they be responsible towards others? Then they have adapted to the human delusion. So obedient to hypotheses, to entities that's supposed to live on the other side of the universe. This is where their loyalty is. Their goal is in the afterlife, not in this life. So we are talking about a human delusion to the deepest level. This is not about territory. It's not a political conflict. It's just showing you the true nature of those who choose to be sub-animal. So now people are screaming, equal rights, equal rights. What about equal duty? What about responsibility? We just saw Dr. Ayelet Levy. She's a mother of a 19-year-old girl who was dragged by a savage into a dark world, as the entire world has been watching. No condemnation of that. They want to validate rape, kidnap, looting, killing, genocide, ethnic cleansing by the name of resistance. And if we agree to that, they have been saying free, free Palestine instead of saying free the hostages. My apology for the long answer, he must translate. But I think at least you're understanding my feeling into this. The whole world let Dr. Ayelet and Naama and the rest of the hostages down. They betrayed this handful of people representing humanity. But such cruel, blind world that instead of pressuring Hamas to free the hostages, they have been screaming out loud to free a concept against humanity, against freedom itself, by the name of freedom. This is the situation that we are dealing with. This is not political. This is not a political. This phenomenon now is becoming global. Its darkness is about to take over, and we must counter it. We must fight against it, whatever it takes. Okay. This is the fun part now. My apology. You don't have to scream out loud. You can just be as calm as possible.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll get to the crux of the matter. In your eye, what is Palestine?
This could be the most important question of the century. If people are able to answer the question, what is Palestine, then we will reach the root cause of this problem. Palestine was never a country. Is not a nation, is not an ethnic group, is not a religion, is an illusion. It's at best, an ideology. An ideology that has been proven to be violent, pro-anarchy, against order, dependent on the destruction of Israel. The same thing with Islam, an Islamic state, dependent on the destruction of civilization. If we allow such concepts to manifest, this means great suffering, bloodshed, war, conflicts, confusion, and eventually total destruction. Palestine is very similar to a black hole that nothing can satisfy it. Today is used as a device. They only want to take this part of the world, only this for now, as a first step. But they must erase the Jewish people as a condition. They must ethnically cleanse the Jewish people from the river to the sea as a condition for Palestine to exist. And if we allow them to do that, then we will allow them to do more, a lot more. Because tomorrow is not going to be only Palestine. It's going to be Andalusia. Did you know that Andalusia is an Islamic land? And did you know that Spain has been occupying Andalusia? And the Muslims have the right to fight until the end of time, until they emancipate Andalusia from Spain and Palestine from Israel. This is what's all about. So the lie of Palestine, how it has been used as a device to manipulate, to deceive, at the expense of Arab and Jewish children. But if we allow that to happen, the next generations will pay the price, because this is going to be the birth of a savage empire. And this is what Palestine is all about.
How do you see the future?
We have 2.5 minutes. It's not up to me, it's not up to you, it's up to them. Okay. The future is now. We set the foundations of tomorrow today. If today we choose to live in falsehood, this means tomorrow is going to be a distorted reality. So before we go to tomorrow, we need to solve the problem of today. There is a vast majority in the world that they believing in a false narrative. We tell them Palestine is non-existential. It can, even if it manifests, what is it going to take to manifest such violent concept? But they choose to believe in the false narrative. And we have a generation of Palestinians as a global phenomenon, as a global movement. They finally unleashed the monster, where now so many people are swearing by the name of Palestine. They've never been there. They don't know what it stands for. They don't know that they would pay the price first and last, but they're still screaming like sheep, Palestine, Palestine. In that crowd, you will find the communists, the Islamists, all type of fanatics, extreme opposites, contradicting each other, just like all the Palestinian political gangs, by the way, that they would kill each other if they did not have a common enemy, Israel. But somehow, they found the common enemy. Someone to blame. The most successful ethnic minority on earth with a great contribution to life, the Jewish people. They're going after the Jewish people. But what are they contributing? Except violence and anarchy and chaos. And they've been swearing, globalize the intifada. Globalize the intifada. They want to bring destruction everywhere else. This is why it's appealing to so many of those of Islamic origins here in Europe. It's a device. They have their opportunity right now to retaliate, to intimidate. And they have been exploiting the freedoms of the West without believing in the Western values. So now, before we talk about tomorrow, we need to be aware of this problem that we are dealing with. This is an extreme situation, and we may have to do extreme measures to counter it. We need to learn, I'll try to conclude. We need to learn from what Israel is doing. Israel had no choice but to use the force to send a very clear message to Hamas and Islamists that violence is a dead end. You initiated this war on October 7, and you initiated all the previous wars, and your aggression cannot go without consequences. And Israel has the right to draw the line. I have the right to draw the line. Now, all those who want to validate Hamas atrocities by whatever name is, they can all go to hell. Even if they are a majority. Even if they are a majority, it doesn't matter. Because we cannot allow the birth of a savage empire. We cannot allow that to happen. So, before we talk about tomorrow, we need to finish this war, and we need to counter this threat. This is a threat against civilization, against humanity, against evolution, against God. Then we can talk about tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Djobnik signing off.